And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back into Club Jaguar. The Jaguars are back in the win column. Definitely feels good. The trade deadline has happened. The Jaguars went and got Jakobi Meyers, and also the Jaguars have a big divisional game coming up, and some interesting news on the injury front on both the Jaguar side and the Texans side. But of course, I got to bring in my other panelists. I have Jason from Jaguars United. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Hey, aren't you glad we raised the floor? Because those floor raisers are what won the game against Vegas. That's all I know.
The floor is high, and we're just trying to elevate the ceiling a little bit more, right?
A little bit. A little bit.
That's the next step. And now we're gonna bring in Jordan Lua from Jag, cashing in his PTO, is back after the open competition. The Jaguars, we just don't have enough draft capital to really replace Jordan at this moment. What's up, Jordan?
Apparently not enough draft capital to land Quinnen Williams either.
Yeah.
It's hard to compete.
And how about these floor raisers being Tim Jones and Austin Trammell, two players who have been around before, but you're getting big time contributions from guys that have been around previous regime, and they come back and in this regime with this team, they make winning plays.
All I know is the offense was moving with them, especially in that second half.
Tim Patrick out there making plays.
Tim Jones.
Tim Patrick was inactive.
Tim Jones? What did I say?
You said Tim Patrick.
No.
They look like Tim Patrick can get back this
misinformation's already starting. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The Jaguars need some Tim Patrick back on the field this week with all the injuries they have at receiver.
Yeah, and that's, we can start. Actually, let's start with the Raiders game. Of course, the Jaguars. It was 6-3 in the first half. We couldn't just get into the end zone. We can move the ball, just couldn't get into the end zone. But then the Jaguars exploded. Obviously, the game went into overtime. Jaguars win 30-29. Trevor Lawrence flu game. Cam Little back maybe 68-yarder, 3 for 3 on field goals, 3 for 3 on extra points. Devon Hamilton with the game-winning pass breakup. Just a lot happened on Sunday. So we can start with Jordan, man. What's your overall take on the game?
Oh, gosh. Well, if they were playing, I don't know, 24, 25 other teams, they're not winning that game in all likelihood. But they were playing the Raiders. Not a very good team. Team that does have some talent in certain spots, certainly. Brock Bowers, unbelievable. Ashton Genty, right up there. But not a very good team. Jaguars lucky to be sitting at 5-3 in a position where they now, after the entire AFC South loses, they're right there with the Colts. They're right there. It's insane.
Yeah, they are. And I know I'll never get to the point because it's like every time you talk about this game, you have to have the caveat of, oh, well, the Raiders are a really bad team. But I just, people try to temper the win in that way. I just don't think, and, the Jaguars haven't been very good in our history. I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I'm not going to be happy after an NFL victory. So
you should be happy.
Yeah.
But context can also be relevant.
The Raiders are a bad team, but Brock Bowers is a phenomenal football player. It wasn't the Jags versus the Raiders. It was the Jags versus Brock Bowers. And if you put up a performance like Brock Bowers did, I would turn it on its back there, what y'all said. Against 75% of the teams, I bet you the Raiders win. So the Jags found a way to win regardless of a career day from Brock Bowers. He just went insane. And people can – I'm making on my soapbox here for a second. Okay. People can blame the defense and the coverage. We didn't play him right. All his big plays came against blitzes that didn't get home, or Brock Bowers making a great play, the great one-handed catch. I don't know if there was much more the Jags could have done to stop Brock Bowers. He had a phenomenal day, in my opinion, and the Jags still came out with a win. So I was impressed.
Yeah. And that was, and I think the Raiders with a Brock Bowers is a much better team than what the Raiders have been putting up the last several weeks. Because what have the Raiders been having trouble doing? They've been having trouble scoring points. It's not going to be an issue with Brock Bowers. 3 touchdowns on a day. If you're Greg Newsome, I don't know how you guard that play any better. Yeah, this big old tight end making back shoulder, one-handed grabs. I mean, the guy's an absolute animal, and there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Tight ends. A lot of people don't really like to draft them in the top 10 to 15 picks, but man, that guy is worth every bit of it, and he's I would say right now the best tight end in the NFL.
Definitely the best weapon at the position. Beyond the Brock Bowers of it all, the Jaguars missed more tackles than they normally do. You had the typical early game miscue from Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the fact that they only scored 3 points in the first half against that Raiders defense is abysmal. That if they were playing against a team like the Rams or the Seahawks, they would have been down just like they were in those games. Like, it wasn't good enough. It was a win, a much needed win. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Sometimes it's better to have breaks go your way, whatever it may be. But 3 points against that Raiders defense in the first half is pathetic.
Yeah, in the Jaguars, the first half was basically like the Jaguars offense in a nutshell a lot of the year. So the Jaguars start off with a 3-and-out because Trevor Lawrence, missed a guy. It's like, okay, we've seen that before. Opening drive misses 3-and-outs. And then the very next one, we get this nice long drive. We're doing well. And then Trevor Lawrence makes a boneheaded interception in the red zone. Like, no business throwing that there. And, we're all on top of him for that. And then the next possession, the Jaguars punted because we had holding calls. We were getting pushed back by penalties. I'm like, dear God, we're the same exact team after the bye week. It's just us getting in our own way in a lot of sorts and us stopping ourselves as opposed to the other team stopping us. So, will the Jaguars be able to get over that during the season? I don't know, because, if this is how you're playing 8 games in, if you're still making the same mistakes, is that like just all of a sudden who you are? Or is it something that we can finally push past? But at this point right now, it's kind of who we are until we can prove otherwise.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, they didn't make some of the same mistakes, right? Like Cam Little hit his field goals. Trevor Lawrence didn't fumble on his little giraffe jump play into the end zone. So there was things we'd seen them do and make mistakes in the past that they cleaned up. And I think you have to factor in the amount that this team was incredibly injured, and they were playing with a lot of reserves and backups. And in the NFL, any win is a good win. I don't care if it's against the Titans, the Saints, or the Chiefs. Any win in the NFL is a good win.
A win is a win,
especially in enemy territory.
So I'm not taking away the win. I'm saying moving forward, when you play against good teams, you cannot play that way.
Absolutely.
Sounds like you're taking away the win, is what it sounds like.
No, Jags 5-3. They have an opportunity to get to 6-3 against the Houston Texans. We're going to talk about that game a lot. And I think they will get to 6-3, not to bury the lead. Right? I think that they will sweep the Texans for the first time since 2017. But look, that's not good enough against good teams.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. I think Jordan wishes that. I think Jordan thinks the Jaguars deserved for the Raiders to have gone for 1 instead of 2 and ended up with a tie.
I think Jordan hates the Jaguars. Now that I think about it.
That's the worst thing.
I think Jordan hates Trevor Lawrence.
I think Jordan hates the Jags. He wasn't here last week. He's trying to take away the win. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, well, Jason, we can keep the win. We can keep the win.
We'll
Jason.
keep the win between us two.
Yeah,
I have a question for y'all. Which bye week wrinkle was most impressive to you? I noticed 3. The I formation with Bashal Tootin at fullback, the trick play that they designed over the bye with the throwback to Trevor Lawrence and then the bomb down in the end zone, or the Wildcat formation. Which one of those 3 was the most interesting bye week wrinkle to y'all?
Ooh.
I mean, I think Wildcat was the best.
Yeah, Wildcat was. I'm not even usually a fan of the Wildcat, but it was doing good that game. I'll say that.
Well, I heard you on your stream yesterday talking about it, Jason, and somebody asked you, like, why is that cool? Like, why does that work? And it changes the numbers. Yeah. If the player who gets the snap is the designed runner, it ruins the defensive numbers in the box. Exactly like you said. And so that's why it, when teams aren't prepared for it, it works really well. And it can work really well regardless. I mean, who was it? Ronnie Brown?
Oh, yeah.
The Dolphins. I mean, they had an insane season running the Wildcat like all year. had like an MVP level season. But you know, it helps when the person getting the ball 99% of the time can also throw it. So that's why the Wildcat isn't run more often. But I thought it was really nice. And Lawrence almost executed the throwback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great scoop.
It was
good throw.
there.
Yeah.
It
Good scoop, good
was a
throw.
better throw than ETN.
Yeah, I can promise you that will not be a design for Travis Etienne again.
Yeah, that throw was pretty awful. I guess it was a good spiral to be able to bounce it back up to him, but man, that could have been disastrous if it took the wrong bounce.
And Trevor threw a beautiful spiral in that play.
It was good.
For,
I mean, it's the
chaos.
exact throw you want to make to your wide receiver one, right? To give him a play.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think BTJ should have came down with it, or is that too tough to assign to him?
That'd be great, but and maybe someone comes down with it, but there were hands getting all over that ball. I mean, it was double coverage. Guys were swatting at the ball. That's not like a drop or anything to me.
I said it was a hard catch to make, but your top tier receivers make that catch.
That's what I feel. Like I'm not expecting De'Ami Brown or Parker Washington to make that, but if you were to swap BTJ with Jamar Chase or Jefferson, I think those guys come down with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Jamar.
And that's kind of what's hurting the Jaguars right now is we're trying to get BTJ wide receiver one opportunities, and he's just not rising to it. And I think that's one thing that's been, I guess, a little bit difficult for our offense is like how do we retool and redesign this when the Jaguars wide receiver one just isn't making incredible plays every week that you would hope that he'd be able to make.
I thought he played really well against the Raiders overall.
Yeah, but what he got 3 catches? He got 3 catches though. It's not like
but there was
getting
effort.
peppered. Yeah.
Yeah, no. He made a lot of the targets he got, and he was giving effort even when he didn't have the ball.
And he had the huge drag play across the middle where he made like 5 guys miss.
Yeah.
That was big.
And he came back in, but he didn't and then he came back out, right? And he didn't get to finish the game.
He was trying to gut it out, and I respect the heck out of that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that's something you would have expected from him earlier in the year.
How would you handle, I guess if he's a good to go on Sunday, would you throw him out there, let him play, or do you think would you rather him rest a little bit because I know he's
good to go. He plays.
Yeah. I mean, he's dealing with the thing with Brian Thomas Jr. right now is it feels like he's dealing with a lot of stuff, like a wrist injury, the ankle. I know he had a shoulder and whatever's going on mentally. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's almost like, are we in a safe situation? Just let him, and I don't know if it's a dumb take, but just let him chill for a week too. Okay.
No,
I don't think it's a dumb take. I mean,
you're going to be
didn't
playing Austin Trammell and Tim Jones. I mean, I guess Tim Patrick did practice.
Jakobi Meyers.
So that's good.
Yeah,
but you're going to have guys on the field that you do not want to have off in the field. Brian Thomas Jr., if he's healthy, needs to be on the field.
Okay.
Hey,
healthy enough.
I think we're getting Quentin Morris back this week, so I think we'll be okay.
Oh yeah, would be good. And by the way, I don't know how Hunter Long didn't get hurt worse.
He did.
I mean, hurt worse than he did. I mean, that play looked nasty.
Yeah,
I thought he was done.
That was a great catch. Negated by a penalty.
Yeah,
and
negated
then,
by
of course,
penalty,
he had a
of course.
horrible drop later on.
I mean, even when we complete plays in the middle of the field, we get it called back.
Yeah.
It's a cursed area for us.
So Robert says he thinks Meyers will be the F. Liam Cohen said that is not the case today. To start, with how the receiver room is constructed right now and with the injuries and stuff, Parker Washington is going to be the F moving forward. Slot receiver. The slot receiver in the Jaguars offense has just more pre-snap responsibility, adjustments, motions than the outside receivers. So Jakobi, according to Liam Cohen, to start out is going to be playing more outside with Parker Washington more inside.
And people get too caught up in that because if you look at how the Jags formations, they run a lot of the tight formations where essentially you have 3 of if you're in 11 personnel and you have 3 receivers out there, they have formations where all 3 receivers are barely outside the hash. So if you're concerned about Jakobi Meyers getting fed outside the numbers, I don't think that's a worry. I think,
and that's not a worry for him on tape, anyways.
Well, in the Jags game, that's all I've seen of him. Everything was in the slot against the Jags, but
He's about 50-50 throughout his career.
Okay.
So there's different situations, different game plans where he's inside more, outside more.
Yeah, and so the Jaguars wind up, of course, trading a 4th and a 6th round pick for Jakobi Meyers. And that's the only trade that the Jaguars made. Of course, they were trying to get in on some other trades, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But for now, the Jaguars get Jakobi Meyers. Jason, what did you make of the trade?
Like, I've only really looked into, all I've seen is I watched him in the Jags game. I made an effort when I was going back and watching the tape to like watch him. And, I liked the skill set that he brought. I wasn't blown away. And if you look at his stats this year, you're not blown away by the stats. But if you listen to how people talk about him outside of the building, whether it's our current wide receiver coach who's coached him, his last 2 destinations in Vegas and in New England, everyone's had super high remarks of him. And like, really, like, you don't hear the remarks that you hear about him very often about players. So I'm excited. And I think if he can get back to the form that he was in when he was in New England, there's no doubt in my mind that he could definitely contribute to this team a lot. And I want to hear y'all's opinion of Jakobi Meyers. But if you'll indulge me for a second, everyone's healthy, including Travis Hunter. What does the depth chart look like right now?
Oh boy. I mean, obviously BTJ, Travis Hunter 1 and 2. I'm definitely moving Dyami Brown down. It'd be hard because Parker Washington, man, he just, as much as you try to get him off the field, he just makes so many plays. So, I mean, at the very least, he's in the top 4 for me. But I don't know. What about Jordan?
I think your top 2 is Travis and Jakobi.
Wow. So you're bumping BTJ way down.
He hasn't played like a top 2 receiver this year. And I'm giving him credit for playing well but you don't feel like you can rely on him in any way, shape, or form week to week. And so, yeah, Jakobi, if anything, he's a reliable player.
Until he tries to catch Trevor's uncatchable ball, then we'll see.
Yeah. We will see.
Let's see what that. Hey, he's got an insanely low drop rate. So if he does start dropping the ball, maybe we can talk about this uncatchable stuff.
Yeah,
but I didn't mean to cut y'all off.
If he cannot catch the ball from Trevor, I will indulge you. Okay, I will. We can have a conversation, a dialogue.
Yeah,
but I cut y'all off about Jakobi Meyers because I don't know as much as y'all do. So. How do you think he contributes to the team?
I think he's the most consistent professional receiver Trevor has played with, dating back to, I think he's a better player than Marvin Jones was when Marvin Jones got here, just because Marvin was up there in age. He was still, pretty effective in 2021. I think Jakobi, when you look at his skill set, as a route runner, he has really great feet. He's quick. His lower half is really quick. He's explosive. He gets off the line of scrimmage well. He separates at the top of his route. And then with the ball in his hands, he can make a guy miss as well. And then you talk about he's good in contested catch situations. He's good going over the middle, which is something the Jaguars haven't really had outside of Parker Washington, who is willing to go over the middle, but doesn't necessarily always have the skill set to execute in some of those moments. And then he's just consistent. Like, he is a pro's pro. I think he's that vet in the room. Tim Patrick is also a vet in the room, but he's that vet in the room that actually is going to go out there and make plays. Like, it's nice to have Tim Patrick in the room for professional reasons, right? But he's not being asked to go out there and be a starting receiver. When you have a vet in the room that's a starting receiver, it's a little bit easier to get behind that guy and follow that guy for the young guys.
Yeah, and I think the Jaguars, it's like they simply just needed a guy that can go out there, run the routes, and catch the ball. And it sounds very, very simplistic, but I think it's as simple as that. I mean, Dyami Brown hasn't been able to go out there, run the routes, catch the ball. Brian Thomas Jr. has had his struggles. Even Travis Hunter, like, for whatever reason, he's not really getting the ball. So it's like we're looking down, and it feels like the most dynamic receiver and the guy who shows up every week, like the only guy that truly shows up every week at the wide receiver position and given the opportunities is Parker Washington. I think that's an issue. So
I'd say put some respect on Travis.
well, I mean, Travis, they didn't even give him the opportunity. They're not throwing the ball his way. I don't know
They were
why.
working on it. It was
They
really
were
bad
working on
timing
it.
for that injury. It really was.
It was, but I'm simply just talking about what we've seen on the field, not projecting what was going to come after the bye.
Okay, 14 targets, 8 catches, 102 yards, a touchdown.
Well, yeah, but how much of that came in the fourth quarter when we were way up? I mean, he hasn't consistently throughout the season. It's just he's been on the field getting open and stuff. It's just the ball hasn't been getting thrown his way.
What's your point?
I'm just saying, I don't know if we're going to be able to get Jakobi Meyers kind of in the mix where Trevor Lawrence is at a point where either he trusts him to get him the ball or whatever. But I don't know. I just think that, the wide receivers, some of these wide receivers haven't been, I guess, showing up enough when it comes to coming down with the ball. And
I'm saying is Travis Hunter has shown up.
Yes. But why hasn't he been giving him the ball though?
Yeah, what Dalton is saying is you're not getting the production from him. So it may not be all his fault, but he's saying he needs a receiver that runs the right route and catches the ball. Included in that is Trevor throwing him the ball. So Jakobi Meyers, maybe not the same type of receiver as Travis Hunter. Jakobi Meyers is really good on that out route that Trevor Lawrence loves to throw. So, I mean, they could just
He's a good route runner in all facets, in my opinion.
And
I'm not trying to say anything negative about Jakobi. I'm just saying I don't think we need to say Travis Hunter hasn't done his job.
Well, I wasn't saying that from this point of he's not doing his job. I'm just simply saying that, of course he had the game where he ballooned out to over 100 yards, passing or receiving, but we see him all these games and he's getting open. It's just for whatever reason Trevor isn't looking his way. And sometimes Trevor does key in on guys that he likes. He had trust with Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, even before that with Marvin Jones and even a Zay Jones. But I don't know what it is about it. I mean, he's never truly unfortunately had a connection with Brian Thomas Jr. He hadn't had it just yet with Travis Hunter. Of course, what was to come after the bye week is a hypothetical. We all think that he was going to get more opportunity, but was it going to be there? We'll see. But you also look at this from the perspective of Travis Hunter will be out at least 3 more games, and the way the Jaguars wide receiver room is constructed. I don't think De'Ami Brown will be back next year. And you have 2 receivers at the front end of their rookie deals. So, you might have locked up your, wide receiver 3, 4, whatever. You got the veteran wide receiver presence in the building. So it could also be a move more long-term as well, where, of course, he's on the expiring contract. But Jaguars don't have a lot of money allocated at the position. I think the most money right now, the wide receiver position is allocated toward Gabe Davis. But we'll be out from that at some point. But I'll just say, I think you bring in a veteran that, obviously the low drop rate, obviously he's got a lot of experience, but he'll be turning 29 on Sunday. So, we'll see what kind of connection they can form. And we'll see if they actually, how quickly he can kind of learn this playbook. Because one thing I'm seeing out there throughout this whole season is wide receivers just sometimes not really know where to line up and sometimes running wrong routes. And you see, Trevor Lawrence trying to throw a back shoulder, but a guy's running a fly. So we'll see how quickly we can get this thing together. But I'll also say that yeah.
Sorry. Most of that I feel like has been the 2 young guys, Travis and BTJ, where there's a little bit of miscommunication or whatever you want to call it, not understanding the way Trevor. I think Jakobi and Trevor are going to have a great connection. I really do. Because, again, he's a professional. And he's the type of receiver where Trevor Lawrence, I think, will feel comfortable just giving him a shot to go get the ball, and he'll come down with it more often than not.
What does the season have to look like at a minimum for the Jaguars to really aggressively try to re-sign Jakobi Meyers for this rest of this season so that it's not just a rental pick, a rental trade? What is bare minimum? What does it need to look like from Jakobi Meyers?
I think if he plays the way he has throughout his career, throughout the last 4 or 5 years, they're going to absolutely re-sign him. I think that their plan is to re-sign him, even though James Gladstone kind of played coy a little bit with that today. I don't think that they want to be like, yeah, we're going to re-sign him. That doesn't give you any leverage. That doesn't really help anything out. I think that they want to re-sign him. I don't think they would have given up a 4th and a 6th if they didn't want to. Now, On the reverse, same or other side of that token, you can say they have a 4th and a 6th remaining. Like it's not like they gave up their only 4th round pick and their only 6th round pick. They still have 11 picks remaining. So I think that it was a calculated risk. I think that they believe they're going to re-sign him if he comes in and is the professional that they expect him to be and the player they expect him to be. And that I do expect to see that. He's a good player.
Yeah, and I just like Jordan was saying, I think he needs to be the player that he's been throughout his career. And that's the player that you traded for. That's the guy that's dependable and stuff like that, has good hands. But I'll tell you, he can't be like a De'Ami Brown.
Right.
I think he has to be able to get this opportunity because I know De'Ami Brown, they signed him to the 1-year prove-it deal, and he's just simply kind of shit the bed, to be flat out honest with you. Just not catching it, looks, shying away from contact. Just
whether that be via or because of injury or otherwise, that is the bottom line.
Yeah.
What if he goes off in the playoffs like he did with Washington? Does that change your mind about him?
He'll get a 1-year prove-it deal with the Titans.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Not like if the Jaguars didn't have Jakobi, maybe. But I just feel so confident in what Jakobi has shown over the last 5 years of his career to where, he hasn't played a snap for the Jaguars yet. That's true. But based on what I've seen, I think he's going to come in and at least be a good starter.
So Jakobi Meyers wasn't the only guy that the Jaguars were trying to trade for. It came out today from Jordan Schultz that the Jaguars were actually in on Quinnen Williams, which that doesn't surprise me. I thought they might be aggressive to try to bring in somebody else, but freaking Jerry Jones, the 3-5 Dallas Cowboys, having to drive up that price. They give up a 1st-round pick and a 2nd-round pick for Quinnen Williams. I know myself, I was debating whether I would want to give up a 2nd-round pick for him. I didn't think the way that the Jaguars roster, the way it's currently constructed, and this is no fault of James Gladstone, it's just kind of the hands that he was dealt. I don't think we're in position to be trading up key draft capital in that sense when the Jaguars really do have a lot of holes currently on the roster. So Jaguars don't do it. The Jaguars, of course, Jordan's trade number was 1.5 trades over under. The Jaguars go under. Jordan, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what would you have given up for Quinnen Williams hypothetically?
Well, in a vacuum, I think giving up what the Cowboys gave up isn't insane. But the Jaguars obviously traded 2 first-round picks for Travis Hunter.
But with the Jaguars right now, what would you have given up for him, knowing we have a 2nd, 3/3, and just the way the rest of our roster looks?
I mean, my guess is they were trying to give up a 2nd and a 3rd.
Or a 2nd this year and a 2nd next year.
Yeah. They obviously wanted a 1st-round pick. Would I have done that? Maybe. I mean, honestly, I know you've got that would create even more stress on who are you re-signing? How are you re-signing these players? And you do have a lot of holes. So would I have pulled the trigger on it? Honestly, probably. But I'm a guy that's I've always kind of been if you can get a superstar, go get a superstar. And I do think that he would absolutely change the Jaguars defense, but they do have a lot of holes. And I don't blame James Gladstone for saying, live to fight another day. We're not just going to give up more than we feel comfortable giving up, given the situation. And then they pivoted to Zach Sealer, apparently, and they weren't able to quite get that one over the line either. That's a player I thought that they would be looking at potentially, and I guess that they were. But overall, I don't blame them one bit for not trading what the Cowboys traded for Quinnen.
Let's hear your thoughts, Jason.
Absolutely not. Would Quinnen Williams have gotten his big right paw up there and batted the ball away? Absolutely not. He would not have done it. So I'm good with it. Let's go. Devon Hamilton, way to prove the haters wrong. Get that big paw up there.
I just know for myself, if the Jaguars didn't need a left tackle, if the Jaguars didn't need some more interior defensive linemen. If the Jaguars still weren't somewhat questionable, maybe on the back end and the back five when it comes to defensive backs, maybe I would be down to do it. But I don't know. As fun as it would have been, and I think the Cowboys gave up. I think it was a 2027 first, wasn't it, or was it a first next year? So
2027.
Yeah, so it was a couple years.
So that's
the
what
Jaguars.
That would have been their next first round pick.
Yeah, that's the Jaguars' next first round pick. So they could have matched it, but I just as fun as it would have been, I just don't know if we're in a position to really do that right now. So
you know who's really bad? Freaking Walker Little. He's so bad, dude. I was just watching the game. I was rewatching the All 22, and I was like, "Shit, this guy got beat again." Like this guy, like he's left tackle has got to be number one priority in the draft. Your first pick in the second round, it's got to be left tackle. You got to go out and sign a big time left tackle. Like that has got to be addressed. People want to blame the defense. I get it, but if we're going to be an offensive focused team, you probably should get left tackle figured out. And Walker Little is not the answer.
Yeah, it's disappointing. This is the first opportunity for him to really be a day one starter at his natural position. And I mean, he just gets overpowered by these guys. Like he can't do anything against these superstars.
He's overpowered. He's too slow for the edge guys. He can't handle passing off a player. If a player stunts, he looks like he's lost in a maze. Dude is like, he needs to either have a complete flip of production or just get this guy off my team. That's how
against the Seahawks, he got put on his ass by like a 220-pound linebacker. It was insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Low man wins.
Yeah. It's
or the strong man or the fast man or the good man. How about any of those? I'll take any of those. I'll take any of those.
Yeah, he has been a total disappointment.
Yeah. And geez, yeah,
For
it
sure.
has been. It has been. And we'll get to some more guys. Get a few super chats here. Shout out to Big Jags fan. He says, saw Jakobi Meyers interview. He looked so happy to be here. So do y'all watch Roundtable Raiders? He's Pat's so decently, not bad. We think Trevor cooked after that pick and ETN was good. So yeah, Jakobi Meyers looks excited. He definitely looks happy.
Wouldn't you
I
be?
know I would be. I mean, I would be. Greg Newsom was happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's
he brings a good point. ETN was a player of that game. ETN was just a dog in that game. I mean, that's honestly the best I've seen him run in a long time. Like I don't even recognize that Travis Etienne. It's been so long since we've seen it. And I know Jordan's going to bring up the stats about he's been good his whole career as a Jaguar when he's not injured. I know, but that was the best I'd seen him with my own eyes in a while.
But I think he's been impressive all year, but that was his best performance this year.
But this is one of those games where like you can't box score watch this one because 22 carries for 84 yards he had, and no touchdowns. But it was the yardage he was getting was so tough. The contact balance, he's playing like a man possessed right now, and I was not expecting this out of ETN this year at all.
He was also just straight up making people miss in the backfield, which is really difficult to do consistently.
Yeah,
he was doing it,
bro. He made Max Crosby look stupid on like 3 plays. Like stupid. Like look, they were in different leagues. I was like, let's go, Travis.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. Tekken says, "Is this team Super Bowl ready if they're week 4 to 5 form again?" I don't think so.
No.
I think we're playoff hopeful. I think it'd be just such a huge W if we make it to the playoffs because let's be real, we're a 5-3 football team right now, but I think we're overplaying our like I think our record is better than what our roster actually is.
I mean,
I don't think that.
That Bengals game, we should be 6-2.
No. Yeah.
I don't think that our record is,
Yeah.
I don't think that the record is better than the team should be. I really don't. I think it's probably right where there should be. Because you could say, well, yeah, they should have won the Bengals game. Well, they probably could have lost in another game here or there, right? Raiders, Chiefs, etc. But to me, this is a team that has played really hard. They are talented in a lot of areas. They are well coached in a lot of areas. And they're right where they should be, I think, honestly. And
Yeah,
if they weren't a team that beat the crap out of themselves every single week, they should be 6-2.
yeah, and I think that's the issue is we're always beating ourselves. We're always highly penalized. But I will say one thing about the Jaguars, and I know, at least me and Jason have given him a lot of crap, but man, Trevor Lawrence just, I mean, he gets these game-winning drives. I mean, he gets these, hey, you got to score this possession, and he got like 3 go-ahead touchdowns this game. I mean, the guy was resilient playing in a flu game. I mean, give him tons of credit because we've been wanting a quarterback for so long. I know everybody in my chats always talk about how bad he is, how badly we need to move on. But like, how many quarterbacks that the Jaguars have had in the past could actually be in a position that Trevor Lawrence has been this year at the end of the fourth quarter when you need touchdowns, when you need first downs, when you need points, that doesn't completely choke the moment away?
Yeah. And, he did that in 22 and 23 as well, quite a bit, just big time moments late in the game. You would love to see it happen more consistently throughout the game. That's really the only criticism at this point.
Yeah.
And he could be more accurate at times.
I'd agree.
For sure.
I mean, the dichotomy is the throw he had in the end zone where he missed the shovel pass that probably would have scored and threw the interception. And on the other side of the coin was that opposite boundary from the opposite hash corner comeback route to De'Ami Brown, which I think was one of his best throws of the season.
That was insane.
Like,
I can't believe De'Ami caught it.
How is that the same guy?
Well, he's just ripping it versus like it's a bang bang type. I don't know. He obviously just can't throw that ball. That's not even what was supposed to happen at all on that play. I don't know why he didn't
looking. The receiver wasn't even looking at him.
Why? And he was. De'Ami needs to probably have a little bit better awareness, try to play some defense there, but there's no way he's going to catch that ball.
Yeah, and it's just that play right there. It's one thing if it was just like oh man, bad throw, got to move on from it. But it's just like he makes that throw far too often, where he makes these boneheaded red zone turnovers, and it's like, okay, well, that happened. Is he going to do it again next week or the week after that? It's just for some reason there's certain things he can't shake. He hasn't been able to shake these ridiculous red zone interceptions, and he has these amazing drives where he'll wheel and deal, he'll get these 3rd and long conversions, all this good stuff, but then just like plays like that where it's like, bro, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So shout out to that one guy. He says right paw.
He's talking about the right paw of Devon Hamilton.
Oh yeah.
That's what he's talking about. My boy
big
D-Ham.
Big DT paw. Yeah, that was good stuff because that guy in the end zone was a little bit open. I think Gino could have underhand it and had him fair catch it and catch it with his chest.
So that was a miscommunication between the two defensive backs. I broke it down.
It was a miscommunication. I don't know which way Antonio Johnson was running.
They both thought they were running different coverages. It was obvious. You could see it pre-snap. They were trying to communicate. They both did what they thought they were supposed to do and ended up in a coverage bust. So thank God it didn't work out.
Yeah. Well, I think it's exactly how they drew it up.
It was a great play call by the Raiders to run that play against what we were running. And it was a great play call. They had a few of those. They had a few calls where they drew it up, and it was a great play call against what we called. Sometimes it's rock, paper, scissors in football. People got to come to reality with that.
Well, Chip Kelly's been at it for some time now.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Sam V. He says DT, left tackle, safety are all needs at this point. Linebackers too, in my opinion. And that's the thing that's unfortunate right now is like, Dewey Wingard is struggling, but should not have been Caleb Ransaw's job at this point. Like you can kind of see probably what they had in mind for him when they drafted him in the 3rd round.
Yeah, you can say the same thing about Wyatt Milam. You can say the same thing about any of these guys they drafted that got hurt.
Yeah. Shout out to Sam V. Another one. He says Ventrell cannot cover. Foye aggressed a wee bit. What do you guys think? Is Foye aggressed at all?
No, that was just a tough game. You have Brock Bowers wearing everybody out. Ashton Genty is a load to bring down. That having a superstar tight end and a superstar running back, that's about as difficult an assignment for an off-ball linebacker as there is. Gino and Chip Kelly, they're not like bad at their jobs either.
Right.
Yeah.
So you combine all that, and that was just a tough day.
Well, yeah,
I
and
think
Gino was
Foye
just
is
game
fine.
managing. All he had to do was game manage that game.
Yeah, and they were getting that ball out so quick. I actually asked Liam about that today. Like,
Humble brag.
is it just
Here we
a
go.
matter
There's
of?
always one. There's always one every show.
Well, I thought it was a good question. Is it just a matter of the game script and these teams getting the ball out so quickly, or is the pass rush like? He's like, yes, they are doing that, and yes, we have been down in a lot of these games, but we need to affect the quarterback more. Bottom line. So
Yeah.
he's not using that as a crutch, but he is acknowledging that. Yeah.
And I was going to
the Rams
mention,
and the Raiders, they were just getting the ball out so freaking quick most of the game.
I was going to mention like what Campanile has Ventrell and Foye doing this year is wildly different than what they had to do the last few years, even through the two coordinators. Like they're blitzing a lot more. They're playing in space a lot more. Like this, they're doing a lot of things. Like Ventrell is being stretched outside of what any coordinators had him do since he's been a Jaguar. And I think Foye, I mean, didn't he still lead the team in tackles? Like he's still doing Foye stuff. Yes, we could add a linebacker, but keep in mind Devin Lloyd's been injured. So
We get him back on Sunday.
Yeah, I'd be happy if it's Foye and Devin next year. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Gotta
don't
get
think
the
that's a
contract.
need if unless you let Devin Lloyd out of the building, which is possible. You never know.
Yeah. Shout out to Tech, and he says, let's say if we trade back in the first round, what do you think about Caden Proctor or Cassius Howell? Walker Little needs to go, and pass rush should step up. I'll let Jordan answer this one because I think he knows a little bit more about prospects.
I haven't been doing a lot of draft this year. Caden Proctor, not yet. I should
Haven't
say.
needed to.
Jags are
Haven't
good.
needed to.
It's crazy.
This time last year, how many mocks did you have out, Jordan?
Oh God, that's
How
a
many
hell of a
mocks did you
question.
ask the head coach about in the press conference?
That is a hell of a question.
It is nice to not have to. I mean, we only, even if we were bad, we couldn't look at Tankathon, so that was a thing this year. But I don't like
Yeah,
a
so
lot of people
Caden
say,
Proctor, though, he's huge, a mammoth of a tackle out of Alabama, and I watched him over the summer. He's definitely got potential, but I feel like they want somebody who's got a little bit more
Finesse.
versatility to his game, probably, than just a mammoth.
And also, if the Jaguars make the playoffs, I don't think we're trading back up into the first round. Like for into the first, like it's not that they would be afraid to, but it's like you trade away a first round pick to go up and get a guy you think is generational. You're not trading away another first round pick to move back up into the first round for a into the first round guy. It's not, the value isn't there. So
It's pretty bold of you to.
You
try
never
to
know
predict what Gladstone's going to do with the trades.
Yeah.
Even if we're picking number 20,
they have a blue chip guy on their board and they feel like he's within reach, they're gonna go get him.
Yeah, and do you ever see teams like from the second round, say you're picking number 21, your 21 best team or whatever. Are you trading up 22 to 25 spots? I don't. Do you ever see that teams trade from that far back to climb up into there?
How many times do you see teams with 3 third-round picks?
Yeah, I guess that's very true.
I just am not trying to box in James Gladstone.
Yeah, but I mean, third round picks are exponentially less value than a first round pick. Like it's
but could you do a 2 and 2 3s if you feel like you're drafting a blue chip player?
Yeah, and what does that get you? Potentially to maybe 25?
Late first.
Yeah.
All right, get to some more of these. We got all kinds of super chats in here. He says, also considering I'm an LSU biased, LOL, do you think we should get Harold Perkins or Whit Weeks if we somehow let Devin Lloyd walk? Man, we're going into deep prospect talk right now. Jordan, just answer this one real quick. Do you know anything about these guys?
Yeah, I know Harold Perkins is a freak show. I know Whit Weeks is they're both good players, but I mean, let's hope that they don't let Devin Lloyd walk.
Yeah, and let's table draft talk right now. Okay, we're 5-3 right now. We've been in this position before. Augustus says, "Do you guys think the Jaguars could have done more for our secondary at either cornerback or safety at the deadline? If Gino didn't pump fake, we could have lost that game. They blew the coverage in the end."
It's safety, man, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Greg Newsome's gotten better every game, in my opinion. I mean, he had a great shutdown on Jakobi Meyers, actually, on a really good route by Jakobi Meyers. Greg Newsome did a fantastic job on that route. The route's hard to cover in man, and I think he's got.
I thought he played good against the Rams too. And Buster Brown is fine for this defense, this zone defense. It's safety. I don't know how you're going to trot out Andrew Wingard and Antonio Johnson as your two starting safeties for the next 3 weeks at minimum.
Yeah.
They were in a significant amount of man last week, I will say.
Yeah, they were. And when you saw Buster in man, that's when you saw him getting beat across the field.
So, I mean, I feel like the entire fourth quarter and overtime, they were in cover one. It was man on the outside. And Brock Bowers beat him. Brock Bowers beat him, but I mean, they didn't really get torched that bad. And I don't know if that's because Geno and whatever, but I think Newsome does a good job in man defense. I really do. And
Newsome for sure, but not Buster.
Buster's more of your like hold the edge in the run game corner. That's where he really excels. I mean, he laid a hit on somebody on the sideline. And I was like, yeah, that's Buster. That's Buster's game, is he just comes up and just strokes you in the run game. So he's a little bit different animal, in my opinion.
But I think he's a really good zone cover corner. But he's not a good man cover corner. I've always felt that way. He's impressed me this year, though. He has.
So
you just have to know your limits.
Shout out to Clemson is better. Trevor Lawrence is #1 fan. He says, Trevor has flu and thrown up all game. Jags fans, quote, Trevor throw 600 yards and 10 touchdowns or you're a bust. Also, I can't remember a full list, but Trevor has less red zone turnovers than Mahomes and others. Wow. The deep stat pulls.
I know that's obviously completely unbiased, right? But it is true that I think that everybody does try to hang on to every little mistake Trevor Lawrence makes, more so than some other quarterbacks. Some other quarterbacks have kind of earned that by like being MVP candidates year in and year out. Trevor Lawrence, though, I think overall over the last 4 games, he has played significantly better than he did in the first 4 games. And I think overall he's played pretty darn well. If you just look at like touchdowns, I think he's had in the last 4 games, he's had like multiple touchdowns in pretty much every game except for the Rams game. Yeah, he's had multiple touchdowns. He's only turned the ball over on 1 interception against Kansas City that should not have been an interception. 1 interception against Vegas that was horrible. And then obviously the fumble where he went over the top. I think he's taking care of the football enough. They're moving the ball a lot. It's just you still want to cut down on those little mistakes. But I do agree that his mistakes are just people cling on to them more than they do with other quarterbacks. And again, some of those other quarterbacks just kind of have earned the right for you to not question them as much.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like, I mean, Trevor's impressed me the last 2 games, but looking at just turnovers doesn't factor in the airmailed balls he throws to people that are wide open. So, I mean, I think that those are also things people are holding on to as well. But I think Jordan's bringing me closer to the fence with these last 2 games. I think Trevor's played pretty well these last 2 games, I think.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to get to the rest of the Super Chats, but of course want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this channels and Club Jaguar Sleeper. Of course, use promo code UCFJAG, get a free $20 entry. And I got a victory lap a little bit. Jason, we won last week.
Hey.
We did it.
We won. We did Brock Bowers anytime touchdown. I think he got 3 of them, right?
Yeah.
So he got 3. Trevor Lawrence higher on 13.5 rushing yards. He got 24. And we went lower on Brian Thomas Jr. And of course, this was before the Travis Hunter thing came out. So maybe that helped us a little bit because I don't think we would have done that knowing that. But yeah, that was pretty good stuff. So we're officially on a roll, guys. So
what's funny is I used my free $20 from Sleeper last week, did the same parlay. But like you said, Dalton, I changed mine to Brian Thomas Jr. over, thinking he was going to get it. And when I saw he was injured, I was like, no, he was so close.
Dang, so close. All right, cool. So we got Jaguars, of course, Texans, and this is a tough one offensively because man, the Texans are they've just got such a good defense. I mean, Trevor Lawrence's pass yards are at 202.5. Probably staying away from that because quarterbacks even the best quarterbacks don't play well against them there. Travis Etienne, 49.5
200 is
rushing
such
yards.
like a. It's like they want you to take the over, but it's like
Travis.
I'm definitely going higher on Travis. I thought you were saying Trevor at first. I'm like, I don't know if I can.
I think he might hit it, actually. I mean, I think he might.
Trevor might for sure, but it's like I don't feel good about it either way, really.
No, I don't. But I mean, he's hanging around that 220 mark per game. So I mean,
Nico at 57.5 seems a little low.
I'm going more on this just because of this reason. The Jaguars, every game they allow somebody receiving wise to go off. The last 3 games, you look at JSN, you go to Devontae Adams, and then you look at Brock Bowers. So I think Nico Collins is going to have his, and I think Davis Mills will probably look at him because he needs some kind of security blanket. Heck, even Dalton Schultz has kind of been going off, but I don't want to go too heavy on them. But outside of that, just a bunch of any-timers.
Jakobi Meyers, touchdown on his birthday.
Do we have that? You know, we can do that. I like, it's a good little multiplier here. So we're gonna put $5.
I don't love it, but it is fun.
It's fun.
He's never been a touchdown machine.
5. We just won 30. What are you talking about? You got a snowball.
We doing 10?
We got a snowball, baby.
Right,
you don't get rich from playing it safe, okay?
We're doing 10. Okay, we're gonna snow. I like what Jason says. Jason's got a lot of experience.
That's right, I do. That's right.
I don't know if that's a flex or not, but he's got experience at this. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put $10 down on this one to potentially win $93. Look at this. This is a $93 payout. So hopefully we can get it. If you guys want to tail us or fade us, either way. Promo code UCF Jag will get your first $20 free. So shout out to them. We appreciate them. So when we go to this game, of course, the Jaguars play the Texans. Second AFC South game and also second game against the Texans. Of course, the Jaguars held them off in Jacksonville in week 3. This one will look a little bit different. CJ Stroud will not play. He's already been declared out with the concussion protocol. And also Jaguars and Devin Lloyd will be back and playing. So that will be, an enormous push for us. The Texans are, if we didn't put them in the dirt and put them away when we forced them to go to 0-3, putting them to 3-6 will certainly make it to where it will be extremely hard for them to come back from that. So we can go around the table, get everyone's thoughts about this upcoming game. We can start with Jason, man. How are you feeling this upcoming Sunday?
I mean, we talk a lot about the Jaguars injuries. The Texans are right there with us with the injuries, man. I mean, I'm looking at their did not practice list today. Will Anderson, Christian Harris, Danico Autry, Jalen Petrie, obviously CJ Stroud. I mean, they got Nick Chubb. They got a full list of guys that aren't practicing. So they're kind of right there in that same boat of injury. Davis Mills, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think the Jags are just going to have to play, their brand of football, and they'll have to execute. They can't do dumb stuff. I do think the Texans will kind of have their back against the wall a bit in this game. So, I mean, this is pretty much their season. If they lose this game, they are essentially out of any type of hopes of anything. So I think that will bring an extra little spunk to the Texans. But I still think the Jags get out with a win. I think they clean some things up, get some guys healthy, and I'd take the Jags. I saw the line is like 1 point right now. So I take the Jags probably to cover to win extra money.
All right, let's hear it, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the Jags winning this game. They have to win this game, in my opinion. Their goal is to win the division. That's been stated multiple times by upper management. Their goal is to win the division. If you want to win the division, you have to win this game. I know the Colts have a more difficult schedule than you down the stretch, but they're still ahead of you. And you need to build some momentum. You need to not beat yourself this game. You need to figure out how to do that more frequently. The Texans, they're not a very good football team with CJ Stroud right now. They're a worse team without him. I don't care what anybody says about CJ Stroud. They are a worse team without him. And they are dealing with a ton of injuries themselves. Surely some of those guys will be able to play, but they have CJ Stroud not playing. Jalen Petrie, concussion, did not participate in practice. Ed Ingram, knee, did not participate in practice, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Jaguars. Titus Howard, concussion, did not participate in practice. Christian Harris, shin, did not participate. That doesn't really matter necessarily. Matthew Wright might be their kicker. That's fascinating to see. Nick Chubb did not participate with a foot. Harrison Bryant did not participate with a shoulder. Braxton Berrios, not matter that much. Danico Autry did not participate with knee. Will Anderson did not participate with quadricep. The Jags have to win this one. They have to sweep the Texans for the first time since 2017. You fall to 5-4. Colts are playing the Falcons, which the Falcons are like a complete. Who the hell knows what they're going to do?
What team's going to show up?
Yeah.
And it's also in Germany, so that brings in a little interesting twist as well.
So just go win the game. You're a better team than they are right now. There's no excuse. And they have a horrible offensive line. Like, if you can't get some pressure against this team, and they have Nico, but they don't have two superstars on offense the way the Raiders did last week.
Yeah. Yeah. And this game, Jaguars need to win it. I mean, straight up, especially when you're actually looking at playoffs. You know, first tiebreaker is, of course, head-to-head. The second one is division record. And this is a great way for the Jaguars to go 2-0. And also just, you know, not only just record-wise, throw the records out of there. Just sweep in a division rival, you know, a team that's just, when it comes to overall record, just flat out owns the Jaguars in that category. And it's going to take years to be able to close that gap there. And a team that we've been kind of bullied by, especially last year. Of course, we have the history with Aziz, and, you know, they took the AFC South from us in 2023. I mean, it's a chance to smack them down and do it in Houston. So it's a great opportunity there. And the Jaguars are a better team. They're terrible. They're terrible offensively. I mean, if they had the 24th best offense, they might be 5-3 right now. But the offense is pitiful, like bottom 3, and it might not even be bottom 2 or 3. It might be like literally the worst. So got a great defense. So this game, it's always going to look sloppy against them because, you know, even some of the better quarterbacks don't play good against them. It's a really tough matchup. They got a lot of guys defensively, but I think the Jaguars have enough to be able to get it done. And, you know, they're very injured. You know, we're, of course, got our own injuries, but getting Devin Lloyd back, I think, will be, you know, huge for us. So I also had the Jaguars winning this one. And, you know, back to the 1 o'clock slot. I know we've been bouncing back and forth between prime time, London, 4 o'clock. We're back in what we call home at the 1 o'clock window. So,
yeah. And look, ETN and Tootin, you got to stick with the run in this game.
Yeah.
You've just got to do it. And I don't know if you need to like do less pre-snap movement, because that's what really kills you with the pre-snap penalties. And I know I'm like, that's like talking out of two sides of my mouth, because I've always been begging for the Jaguars to have more motion and be less static and all that stuff. But you don't need to have a complex plan, in my opinion, for this game.
Yeah. And even last game, it was really impressive against the Raiders because they were playing against like 9-guy boxes.
Yep.
And just punching them in the mouth. It's just so impressive, like especially watching the TV, how you have all these guys here and somehow we're breaking through. It's just laying your will down. And it was just a lot of fun to see. So hopefully the Jaguars come out with a victory. Want to get to some super chats real quick, just since we got a line of them. So answer this however quick as you guys may want. Raiders beat Pats. I meant Dewey is so bad. Don't ever watch quarterbacks' eyes. Buster Brown is pretty good. I think we can get a free agent better than Little. Yeah, loaded question there, but I think Little. Yeah, we'll find a way to move on from him, whether it be through. I imagine they'll probably through free agency sign a guy that they can play week 1, and who knows how the board falls you in the 2nd and 3rd round. But that's going to be a big priority, is trying to solidify that going forward.
For sure.
Sam says opposing tight ends and running backs have been the weak point for this defense. 39 receptions, 479 yards, 7 touchdowns. Whether that's on linebackers or safeties, I'm not too sure.
4 of those were last week. 4 of those touchdowns.
It's true.
And the running backs haven't been an issue. We've actually had good games against running backs, right? It just feels like
I think he means like in the receiving game.
Yeah, Genty popped off as a receiver a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, because we've been stopping the run, but because running backs haven't been going off. But I guess in the past game,
And that is
element.
that is one thing that they have consistently done, and you have to give them credit for. They stopped the run.
Yeah, we didn't do that last year. It was awful last year.
Because they got big Devon Hamilton healthy. Big D-Hams in there.
And I'm sure Mason Smith, I don't see him doing stuff, but I'm sure he installs a lot of positivity to that defense to inspire greatness out there as well.
Yeah, I think Arik Armstead's using all of his free time in the training camp as well. Equally good.
Yeah. No, he was off to the side doing work to make ourselves better in the run
riding
game.
the bike. Riding the
bike. Sam says previous stat line was opposing tight ends against us. Oh yeah, we got it. Todd says, do you trust the coaching staff to develop this roster long term, or are we just riding vibes? Well, is the coaching staff building the roster?
I understand what he means, though. Obviously.
Develop the roster. I read it as building.
Develop.
Yeah.
I think that there will be development. I think you've seen development from several players. They're getting more out of Anton Harrison than they've gotten out of him in the last couple of years. That's for damn sure. And that's, I think, squarely on the kind of motivational tactics they've used with him.
They're getting more out of everybody. Has anyone? I mean, if we talked about Foye, has anyone regressed?
No,
I don't think so.
I mean, Walker Little, I guess, is playing his worst football.
Nah, that's his football. That's his brand of football. That's not. That's.
I mean, it's hard because last year, especially defensively, like we were here, then everybody went down there, so there's really only way to go but up. But I mean, I said it earlier. I think the Jaguars coaching staff is getting more out of this roster than is expected. Like I think the coaches are getting every single thing out of these guys, and that's inspiring in itself because it's nice to feel like we have a good coaching staff that can build this thing for the long term. That one guy says, if Trevor can smack Houston in Houston, LFG. Yeah, that one guy with his jalapeno eggs over here, he is very critical of Trevor Lawrence. So
is that eggs or fries?
I think this is what we were evaluating last week.
Now that I look at it, I'm thinking fries.
It doesn't look like fries. It looks like
cheese fries with jalapeno.
Yeah, I mean that's
dude, that one guy. Can you settle this? That one guy. What is that?
I couldn't tell you.
You know what's funny is like this isn't like your YouTube picture. This is like your Google profile picture. So like, so when he's emailing people, this is the image they see. So like,
big Jags fans wants us to talk about Cam Little. 68-yard record-breaking kick. Give it to him. And then obviously Logan Cook with the incredible hold. Cam Little scored 12 points in this game. I mean, you got to give the man credit. He's up there in the MVP conversation for this game. 68-yard kick. Get the team on the board. Give them a little momentum. Multiple other big kicks he made. Made all his extra points. Congratulations, Cam Little.
I cut him last week. But he's back.
And
I just picked him up.
And the Vegas kicker missed an extra point. That's huge. That's huge.
That was huge. And the Jaguars kept scoring touchdowns to go up 4 instead of 3, and obviously went into overtime. So that was really big. Final super chat. Augustin over here, channel member since forever, says, if safety is an issue, what is going on with Caleb Ransall and Ryan Lane? Should we give them a chance and see what they can do in a game? Well, who's going to tell them?
Ransall's on IR for the year.
Jordan's the bully. Let him do it.
Yeah.
He's the one that's trying to take away with W's.
I mean, solid question. You don't.
Lane though.
Is Ray Lane that much worse?
He's at least got speed, right? Which is what Dewey's missing.
Explosive player. He plays the game like kind of with his hair on fire. He's a playmaker.
Antonio Johnson's strength has always been like a box safety and tackling, and he had several just lazy tackles. And I was like, all right, Antonio Johnson, if you're not going to cover and you're not going to tackle and wrap up and drive, you're useless. That's the thought I had watching it.
Dewey is better closer to the box too.
I think just Antonio Johnson physically, like he's exactly how you want like a safety to look, but it's just, if you're not going to give that effort, it's just disappointing. So with that said,
less effort and more about like just like mental discipline.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it makes sense. So with that said, that one guy never gave us an answer on the jalapeno egg. So we'll
It's
all
gotta be fries.
Come on.
Gotta be fries.
I need an answer because, dude, he's in here every week. He super chats. I pull up the picture, and I'm always wondering. But nevertheless, it's got to be a college meal, right? It's
He's just gonna never tell us.
Yeah, I like his style.
yeah. Look, he's still throwing
He
comments.
just responded again. He's
Still throwing
ignoring us.
comments. He wants to totally sidetrack the question. I mean, we're asking the hard hitting questions. That one guy, we need to know. But maybe that tune in next week. We'll know exactly what he's eating. So he's trying to get the suspense going.
I like it.
So with all that said, that's going to be the show. Jaguars, awesome opportunity on Sunday to go 6-3. You can find all the coverage over here from Jordan, popping out 2-3 videos a day. What you got coming up, Jordan?
I know. I was literally like recapping what Gladstone and Cohen said about Meyers, and then it's like, oh, they're just going to go ahead and announce on Wednesday that CJ Stroud isn't going to play. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I saw that. And
obviously.
your dog wanted to participate in that video.
Yeah, Murray was like pretty fired up about it. She absolutely was. But yeah, we'll have game preview, matchups to watch, bold predictions, all the stuff.
All right. What about you, Jason? I know last night you had a pretty fire stream. I loved it. Got anything else
no,
going
it's
on
pretty
this
good.
week?
If you haven't watched it, my Tuesday night film breakdown, I broke down the film and talked a little about Jakobi Meyers. I haven't had much luck streaming more than once a week. I apologize, but sometimes life gets in the way.
See, that's a shame with Jason's. Like we do this on Wednesday night, but he's pretty consistently on Tuesday nights. Okay, so what you can do, the night is still young. It's only 9:30. Go over there, catch his video from last night as you guys are wrapping up your night. Before going to bed, definitely go check it out. It's awesome content, especially it's content you can't find anywhere else. I mean, it goes really deep into the film room. Lets people that don't know anything about football like me know what we're looking at. It's a good time over there. So check out both these guys.
Great show.
Channel links are down below for both these guys. Go give them a subscribe. Let's help grow this Jaguars community. And with all that said, we'll see you guys next week. Go Jags. Let's get the W.
Jags.